Okay, so let's go. So hey, welcome to Anomaly Discusses Bacurau. My name is Matt DeTurck. I am one of the co-founders of Anomaly and the event coordinator at the Little Theater. So let's go around. There's no around.
You have to call us out.
Yeah. I'm Adam Lubitow. I'm the co-founder of Anomaly, the programming director, as well as the film critic for City Newspaper.
And then Meg.
Hi, I'm Meghan Murphy. I am also a co-founder of the Anomaly Film Fest. And I don't know, I draw stuff, I guess. In no official capacity. You can't keep me in one place. We'll call freelance.
And then KP.
Hi, I'm Krisitn Pelc-Pacheco. I'm an Anomaly co-founder, and I like films, and I read a lot of fanfic, which isn't going to help us here.
Yes.
I didn't go look, so I don't know.
I did not look. I should have looked.
Damn it, KP.
Fanfic prepares you for every situation. It's not helpful.
And then Scott.
Yes, I'm Scott Pukos. I'm the popcorn czar at the Little Theater and a fan of Anomaly. Not part of the Anomaly team, but happy to be here and join in on one of your discussions.
Awesome. Okay, so Bacurau is a film that when we screened it looking to program stuff for Anomaly for the first year that we had in November, it was a film that instantly when we watched it, the two of us were like, that was awesome. And
just the ride that this movie takes you on, like starting out as kind of this social drama that just drops you in this kind of rural village and lets you kind of get to know the inhabitants and becomes like a character study of those people. And then the turns that it takes throughout its narrative as it weaves in more and more genre elements and gets kind of wilder as it goes was just, I had never seen anything like it. And I was like, I really want to show this.
I think the point when we were watching that, like, I was like on board, but then all of a sudden where I was like, wait, what are we watching? Is just before we started actually streaming, we mentioned when the UFO shows up.
Yeah.
That is a tip off.
Yeah. And Scott, you were saying, did you immediately think it was a drone?
No, I'm like, oh, it's a UFO. But the characters in the movie, they were like, oh, I saw a drone. I'm like, you didn't see a drone. That was a flying It's not a camera, it's alien.
I did the same thing. I literally was like, I feel like I should rewind because I feel like I missed the drone. All I saw was the UFO.
That's a UFO. Nobody has a drone like that. Or do they?
And that's also one of the things I love when, like, at the beginning of this one, one of the early subtitles says that this takes place somewhere in, like, I think the near future.
Yeah, the near future.
Yeah.
It says like a couple years in the future, like just enough that a couple of the strange things are, no, it's just stuff that's going to, don't worry about it. Apparently all drones can look like UFOs in a couple years.
Yeah. But, like, I love when films do that, when there's like a questionable when exactly is it set. Like, I remember when we were watching It Follows.
Oh, yeah.
And at one point, just in like a shot of a bunch of kids like sitting around, they're holding what looks like a pocket compact or something. But it's got like a screen in it. And I was like, wait, what is that tech? And like, I feel like Bacurau does the same thing where some of it looks like it's plausible now. And some of it I'm like, is that actually?
Well, part of me thinks like, as you get further in, that the reason that it's designed like a UFO is because on first glance, maybe people will be like, oh, I saw a UFO, go tell the other people in their town, and then not, everyone else won't believe them. Yeah. So as the murdering start occurring, then, they're caught off guard.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah. Anything to kind of confuse, like they partly seem to want to confuse and scare before. So yeah, I like that point. I didn't even think about that.
And if there's any survivors, they'll think aliens did it. Like,
there we go. They're covered everywhere.
They said they're like, we aren't here. Like they made sure like they were gonna get away with this.
Documents
could have blamed it on them.
I thought they were so smart.
And they were not prepared for that town.
They were not. Who would be though?
My new favorite town.
Like, what a bunch of bumpkins. No.
They should have gone to the museum.
That's right.
Right.
They
just
set it
go
up. It's
look.
perfect.
Go to
Learn.
a museum. Look at all the wares and weapons and see the history of this town
The
murder,
photo of the
uprising.
heads. Yeah. Just heads.
Yeah.
This is actually just an infomercial telling you whenever you go anywhere new, always visit the museum.
Yeah.
The smart move.
Know your history.
With that mentioning, like the setting of this, I also think is awesome. And I unfortunately didn't do any research to find out if this was a constructed set, if this was actually like some sort of a town. I don't know if anybody else found out anything else about where this took place.
I know that they were in like, I forgot the name of the place, but all the extras, those were all people that were from the area, and that it was like a small town.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like they tried to take people, because the whole point is that it was supposed to be about these kind of indigenous people that live there in those small towns. So the extras are all from that area.
That's awesome. I mean, because it very much, I think partly because of the way it's edited and directed, and then partly it's just the camaraderie of the people just seems very natural throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Even when they're fighting.
Yeah,
Like, get down. She's drunk. It's Sonia Braga. So good. I love the Doctor. So she's my favorite character. I'm saying it right now. My favorite.
Yeah. She's so awesome in this. And I especially, both last time and this time, when she and Udo Kier actually have like their one-on-one, like I was calling it like a meeting of the minds. But in that case, I'm like, first of all, he's no match for her.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No. Real recognized real, and he's looking kind of unfamiliar.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let me just put on my lap. Oh, this blood? Oh yeah, there's blood all over this. That's what a power move.
No fear.
Have some stew. Also, look at my lab coat. Oh yeah. I think it was a woman. I was like, oh shit.
Small town hospitality.
What's that?
I was mad they wasted the stew when he flips the table over.
That's the whole table.
He broke that pot.
She cooked that for you.
Yeah.
That was rude.
Yeah. I was very upset. This time on this is my second viewing of it. And yeah, when he flips the table and I literally yelled out, what a waste of stew.
And almond milk, that's not cheap.
No.
Was it cashew milk? It was a very specific milk.
I think it was cashew.
Cashew, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, does this have symbolism, or are they just like, say cashew? It's the future.
He's like, I'm not going to murder you, but I'm going to waste your stew.
Yeah,
like,
like,
one could argue that's worse.
Exactly. Well, he gets his, so.
He knew he couldn't take her, so he was like, I'll just ruin her pots and pans.
Oh, boy.
Jumping off of that, you want to talk about Udo Kier a little bit? Megan, I know you're a fan.
Always. I mean, what a perfect shorthand. He shows up and you're like, okay, bad guy.
Yeah.
This is no good. This is no bueno. This whole situation, these people he's with, if you're with Udo Kier, then it's no good. It's no good. But he really is the king of that, like, low key, like, something's not right. And at any moment he could probably do something and he's choosing not to. Plus, he's just perfect as this guy who he's done this before.
Yeah.
He just like, that just comes, like, I think there's a couple brief mentions where you realize, but like, it just in his eyes and in his face and every movement, you're like, oh, he's done it. And when he's set up with his sniper rifle saying, I didn't shoot that. No, not me. You're like, oh. Like, I just feel like he can pull that off in a way other people can't.
Mm-hmm. I loved how they found a different way to make each one of, let's call it his group of hunters, well, initial hunters, like each one of them was psychotic in a different way. But Udo Kier is the one that I literally, when he's up there and he's like, absolutely not, had nothing to do with it. And you're like,
oh, it's really perfect. He's got that low-key menace that, like, yeah, that guy shot a kid. And that guy's obviously looking to prove stuff. And that woman, oh my God. But you're like, you instantly know he could out-evil every single one of them. Like on any given day, not even trying. Wakes up, out evils them
without saying a word either. Just the look.
Exactly.
The look is pure evil.
Oh yeah, pure Udo, pure evil.
I love the shot of like when he first comes into the farmhouse and swings open the door and the dust goes everywhere and he comes in. And I realized though, at least on this watch, that seems so early in like the process of it compared to later when they've like added a table and they've got their little bunker and everything. And I was like, I feel like that shot technically isn't necessary, but at the same time, it's such an amazing villain like moment for Udo Kier's introduction. The camera pushes in, like, I just love it. I think it's great.
The camera loves Udo. What are you gonna do? The camera wants to be closer.
And speaking,
it wasn't a dolly. That was like his magnetism.
Speaking of like Udo and like that whole group and everything, something I hadn't thought about on first viewing was that they're all communicating with like the wireless, to someone, the wireless earpieces to someone. We get no answers on who that is. Like,
and they don't have the body cameras on, I think, because they have the little clip here too on all of their shirts. And the two Brazilians that are riding the bikes, he's got the camera so they can see everything that's happening in addition to the drone.
Yeah,
we gotta dig deeper.
There's a whole network of these people.
Yeah.
No, it's a nice way to say it, because you don't have to totally explain what that is. You just know, like, oh, it's not just them.
Yeah, I don't think I needed answers either. I think I was okay just knowing there's a minute, like this is something that they do for sport. It happens all the time. Like, I don't need someone to take down like that corporation that does that. They're out there.
And Tony Jr. was in on it.
Man, he got his.
I just love when they open the van door and it's just the little water bottles and you know exactly like, oh, he's come to pick up the tour. I'm like, well played,
Yep. And how they just slowly close the door and the other guys are like, all right, guys, we're going to go.
He like backs off into the trunk. Yeah.
They literally, and the guy's like slowly walking back to the van. Yeah, no, right.
Well, I think the movie is very interested in dealing with like who's complicit. Like if we're talking about the Brazilian couple who are like from the other part of Brazil, they're from Sao Paulo, and how they're like, well, we're white, and then you have the whole like all like the Americans and the Germans and the Australians like laughing in their face. Plus, they don't have the earpieces at that meeting, and how instantly that sets up like, okay, so you could try and ingratiate yourself into a system of power, but like, and they don't even like and then boom, they're gone. Like they don't even like spend any more time. The movie tells you exactly where they are in the system, and then shows you how disposable they are as well.
Yeah.
I will say, like, so I was talking to Vanessa about this beforehand, and from the first moment of seeing the trailer and seeing so many Black and brown people, in like a Latin American movie in Brazil, I was like, what? And I know Brazil has probably, I think, the most racially mixed society, like country, because of its history. But I don't know, when you look up things, especially in Latin America, it's always going to be people who look white, like that couple. And so from the moment of seeing the trailer, I'm like, what are they doing here? And then as we got further in, I'm like, you knew. I was shook. I was so happy.
I wanted to know what the couple thought when clearly what was going on in the earpiece was them saying, you're going to kill them. Like everyone's like this and just waiting. And you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
He's telling them to murder me.
And you're wasting these awesome motorbike suits. You're so stylish.
Zoom, zoom, go fast.
Yeah, zoom, go fast.
Yeah, that scene with the table, if you hadn't been starting to pick up on what the general like theme of the film was going to be by that point, I feel like that lays it all out there, but does it in such a tense way that I both times I watched it, that scene, I'm literally just like cringing like the entire time, both from the fact that they're not being ingratiated and the fact that like they're being so pushed away all the way up through them being shot. Like it's just
And we just saw them like murder people and set this town up too. So first you're like, screw those people. Then you're like, oh, you dumb dopes. Like within like 10 minutes, you flip flopped. They're like, oh no, you're just sorry. You can't that game. You can't win.
Yeah, just the construction of that scene is so good. Just the amount of things that accomplishes while also making it just an incredibly tense sequence on its own. It's just, so good.
That's what you get for not trying the local soda. Like, she literally.
My God. Can you at least fake it a little more, people?
They could have gone to the museum.
They were expressly they were invited to it
By several different people. They're like,
Yeah.
are you here for the museum?
I love the man that was serenading them. Oh God, their town bard is the best.
She's like, I'm just messing with you.
I don't want your money. Get out of here.
Oh, that was the best. Yeah. I mean, every character in that town was fascinating and had that history that they again didn't have to spell out. You kind of got as you're going along these relationships in this town because it takes its time to set that up, you know, and that way you care extra. Plus now from the beginning there's a psychotropic drug just in the town. It's part of what they do. I'm sure it won't come back.
At Anomaly, we gave out the pudding for the short film. It's not custard. In this case, I was like, we should have given out something fun to go along.
Like a little Tic Tac or something, like orange Tic Tac. You'll know when to take it.
You could have had someone play guitar and follow just one single guest around.
Oh my God.
I was disappointed that didn't happen, actually.
Everyone take notes. Take notes.
Yeah.
Hire a bard. Hold on, I got you.
I know some bards. Yeah.
Got it. We're fine. I won't forget. The bard's got you.
Usually the bard finds you.
Speaking of characters in the town.
That's exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
There it is. I want to talk about Lunga.
The MVP.
Yes.
He's fantastic.
He of the nail polish and the beheadings. I would like to talk about him.
She's a trans woman. I was doing reading.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I read an interview with that performer.
Yeah, so Brazil has the largest LGBTQ population, and on top of that is notorious for having the highest murder rate of LGBTQ people. So I think it was important that the directors had chosen to ingratiate that character specifically, but also the doctor was queer. And I think there was at least one or two other characters that were queer that we saw kind of in passing that lived in the town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was...
I mean, Lunga's the one who brings the machete.
Oh, goodness. Blood
was like,
splattered, just like...
I'm like, yeah, just like the hand coming up. I'm like, there we go. That's someone who knows how to take care of business.
It was really cool, specifically of making that character kind of, I don't know, like kind of a town hero in a way. In Brazil, they had these really famous outlaws, and I would butcher the name, but they had, in their past, they had these like famous outlaws that would, were rebels, would go through, and townspeople loved them, and then the government would explicitly hunt them down and behead them, which is kind of like the flipping of the importance of the beheading at the end, and put them on display as a lesson for other people to learn. So fun facts for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's awesome, but I feel like it's awesome in this, less in the government.
Yeah.
Like knowledge-wise, you can see what the movie's doing. That's what's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially in Brazil's like current climate, like their current president is pushing to have executions for criminals just as the police see fit, and having that be lawful.
Ugh. Wow.
So shout out to the MVP Lunga, who just...
I wanted to ask the group though, in that case, when Lunga and the crew are in the wall with the tower, the dam, yes. That's one of those cases where, again, with curious about what's going on there, back history, because it's mentioned the town people know what you've done for them, they support you, you can come back. Do people think it was an exile from the town or a purposeful removal, or what do you think was going on there in terms of Lunga's backstory?
think Lunga said at some point that she got tired of being at the town and that's why she left.
Yeah, when
And then, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorries.
No, that's perfect. That's great. It was one of those cases where like that part during when Lunga's eating, like I remember that being mentioned, but I don't know, I felt like with the fact that they outwardly have guns, I assume that they're trying to like help get the water supply back or something. But
I think that was definitely part of what was happening. But I also think like when you're a folk hero, you can't also have a normal life. Like you can't. Like I think partly is that like almost a self-exile. You know, like I have to be this character. In fact, what I love is when you first see Lunga like tired. The whole group is like, we're hungry, looks rough when she shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hair done, all the it's puts on the persona of the folk hero.
Yeah.
And I think in a necessary way, like if we're going to battle, you know, now's the time to put this on, but that's something you can't live 100% of the time, you know?
Yeah.
But she has to leave on a high note too. You save the town, and you're like, that's it. You know, I got. What else can you do? You can only go down from there.
You line up the heads. Everyone takes a photo.
This is my life's work, and then you're done until they need you again, and then you chop off more heads. Probably she'll get to chop off more heads. That machete is not done. I feel
they're not done yet. No.
Yeah, Udo Kier ends by saying this is only the beginning. So
he did say that quite emphatically.
Right before he got locked right in, just buried him. What a fate!
Oh, they knew like we can't just kill him. Like it won't be satisfying and dark enough for like, is he the worst? I think so, because obviously he's done this before. They all suck. But he had that particular, like, no feeling. Like, that one, like, American guy was like, oh, and I actually shot a kid. Like, everyone was, like, finding what their lines were. And Udo's is none. Not even his own, the people he brought over. He, like, killed two of them for kind of funsies. Yeah. Like, it's never explained why. He's just like, those guys are in front of me.
I wish during the credits we got, like, a running score of him yelling while being buried down there. Oh, so, he kept yelling stuff. He's like, it's not over. And then maybe, who knows, he's like, wait, can anyone hear me? Maybe like peeking out a little.
He does have the ghost to keep him company.
I was just going to say the ghost picked him to like actually appear to, which makes me assume, he's the worst.
Yeah. A bad sign.
He's the best at being the worst. What are you going to do?
If the town's matriarch ghost appears before you, probably a little concerning. Let's see. Before I just continue going through a list of things, is there anything in particular you guys are like chomping at the bit that you want to bring up?
I have a question. Yeah. What do you think was between the doctor and Carmelita, the matriarch who died? Because obviously, because they had all you saw, I think, unless I missed it, there was a photo of them together at one point when they were young, and then and I know the doctor was drunk, but that doesn't like make you invent things. That just makes like what
makes the truth come out.
Yeah, I'm like, obviously something happened. I'm just curious, like, do you think that was important for the movie, or is that just more like laying down that the small town has its own issues, but they can all come together, sober up, then drink some more, and then kill some dudes?
Personally, go KP. No.
Okay, because I was like, I think that they had said that they grew up together, and that I forgot the guy's name, but he was the teacher. And was her son basically said that they were so close that they had known each other, being in a small town, that they were best friends, and that they only understood how to handle each other. And that was it. Like the doctor, other than her wife, because then they cut to that. They're like, oh, well, I think her wife knows how to handle her, and then that's about it. So
you think it was romantic then?
No,
it's interesting that they used. Well, it's interesting that they use the word "handle" both times, because like when you have an echo like that in a movie. Oh God, that makes sense.
That's where fanfic comes in to explore.
Right, let's get writing.
I mean, she was passionate. That's the stuff you yell when someone like broke your heart.
Yeah.
I can see that. God, there's so much history in this town. I want to know it all.
That's, for me, this very much feels like a film where there is so much, like, I feel like the creators and then the actors and then everybody involved in this has invented so much backstory. I guarantee that the production team has a backstory for everybody in this, so that they feel like they're remaining truthful to their characters throughout. Yeah, because actually that's a good point. I assumed that they were good friends, but not that people don't yell things in anger regardless of how they actually feel. But her initial set of outbursts could have been because of some sort of a previous lover's quarrel. So hard to say.
Small town. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I bet there was a backstory for my favorite. Okay, so I said the Doctor was my favorite, but I also love a naked rifle-toting couple.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. When that happened, I was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna be so mad when this guy dies."
Right.
Nope.
No, he's just taking care of his plants. Oh, and he's nude. I love him so much. It felt right. You're like, they're just living their lives,
living their best lives. Just, hey.
Oh, it's so great.
And they tried to save the woman too. They're like, "You want to be saved? I'll help you out here.
Take some drugs."
So that part killed me because I think she's the one where she's the one that called them savages because when they were coming in, right, they had the clothes with the blood. I can't remember if it was her or not.
I think it was the other lady because that.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, savages, and then she has the audacity to ask for help.
Oh. Oh, they're all the worst.
The caucasity of it all. I just. You come to these people's town in their country. They're just living their best lives, spritzing their plants in the nude, and you're trying to kill them. They defend themselves, and then you ask for help using a translator app. You don't even know any Brazilian. Like,
it was perfect because the movie doesn't care about being subtle at certain points. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to tell you. Like, look at, like, just instantly, like, oh no, help me to these people you were about to shoot them when they were nude," which is just extra, like, the worst. At least let them get pants on. Nope. She got to die with her clothes on.
You're pretty bad at that too, since no one knows you're coming, and then you still mess it up enough that your partner gets his head completely blown off, and then you're like,
yeah.
That was, I thought, was an interesting, I don't want to say like a twist on it, but I thought was an interesting note as the initial hunters start getting picked off in it. So many of them seem like they're not actually that great at this. Like, it seems like Udo Kier, very experienced at doing this. But it feels like a bunch of them, I don't know, I felt like there was a little bit of that Westworld like feel.
I was about to say that,
yeah. He actually broke down what a couple of them were when they were fighting. He's like, he called the one guy bad cop, and then he called one guy HR guy at a grocery store, and the other guy is the good cop who works at a correctional facility. So I thought that kind of laid out, so like even like there's an HR guy there. So this isn't like a paramilitary group on training. This is legit tourists. When Tony Jr. comes back and calls them like gringo tourists, that's exactly what they were.
Yeah.
And I thought that was important to lay that out.
The woman that had the machine gun, she was saying that she had been a nanny.
Oh.
Yeah, I missed that.
But yeah, she fell in love with the gun. I'm like, well, you should have stayed home.
You should have stayed home.
If you're a nanny, don't you need cool catchphrases when you're about to kill someone too? Like,
and a better fashion sense.
You gotta be
Her gun goes,
The Fran Drescher killer.
She wasn't dressed nice enough for that. You got to bring the outfit goals.
Picture that leopard print everywhere.
Is it?
It don't impress me much video? Is it?
Is it Rachel Bloom? Is that from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend?
Yeah.
She's working on a musical of The Nanny with Fran Drescher?
She is. Yeah. We were being blessed.
We got to pull through, everybody. Got to pull through.
Listen,
there's a light on the other side of this.
Yeah. We have to get to the Nanny musical.
A Fran Drescher shaped light.
You think Fran Drescher was the one speaking to them, and that's like, oh my god.
She thought Mr. Sheffield was out there because he's a rich guy. He's probably hunting people. He was away a lot. That's why you need a nanny. He's hunting people. Enjoy your reruns.
Yeah.
Now I'm just picturing though that every one of these missions just goes worse and worse, and they just lose everyone on every mission because she's like, oh.
Hey, as long as the check clears, they're like, whatever. We were never there anyway, so legally we're fine. We're in the wrong business.
I was curious about, so I think one of my favorite like short stories that I read when I was in high school was The Greatest Game, just because it's so twisted and you're like, wow, this is interesting. How many movies have tackled like a subject? It's interesting that The Hunt came out at the same time.
I have a good list of good people hunting each other films. They're Surviving the Game, and that's got Rutger Hauer and Ice-T. Fantastic.
Okay, sold.
Yeah. There's oh my god, we saw this movie The Prey.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
With a T. Right. Oh, or I think perhaps my favorite, it's not the best, but it also is the best, is Deadly Prey.
Okay.
Which is your classic, oh, we're a military group and we grab people off the street to hunt them. But you know what they did? They grabbed the wrong guy in Danton, who just wears, let's see, I would say they're jean cutoffs, but high enough that you see the pockets dangling out. But here's the thing, man. He was in the war and he knows how to sharpen sticks, and he's coming for these guys. Anyway, those are all real good choices if anyone wants to watch a movie about people hunting people.
And Ready or Not is a good one too.
I was just gonna say we just had Ready or Not too. Also.
Damn, I gotta add that to the list. It's good.
It's a letterbox list.
Good.
People hunting people.
Yeah, and she's doing that in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, she's badass.
oh my god, they had something like 15 versions of the dress because they had to keep changing it when they were doing shots. That was someone's whole job, dress continuity.
Wow, really?
It was like something like 15. I was watching like a making of. Like they had like every like, now she gets this torn off and it's extra blood on here. That's why it's a good movie. Someone cared.
They cared about the blood on the dress.
Exactly. I'd be like, there wasn't blood on that before. I can't believe any of this now.
I'm gonna take Meg. Oh, sorry, no, Meg. I don't want to interrupt if your list is still going.
Oh, no, I wit. Listen. I am but at the beginning of my list. I still have so much to learn and experience with like human hunting movies. I'll get back to you in a couple months.
Perfect. I just realized I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge some of the comments from Facebook. So Laura Keeney asks if anyone has watched the Netflix Brazil series 3%. It's a total near-future dystopian class warfare bullshit parallels to Bacurau. No Udo, unfortunately, but still very badass.
Okay, well, cool. No, I have not seen that.
I've not seen it.
No, I've never even heard of it.
I didn't get to
It's on the list.
There we go. Boom.
Let's watch it.
Subtitles. You gotta be focused. There's subtitles.
Jake Clapp just tuned in and he says, are we all talking about The Hunt?
I don't think, did any of us mention it?
I was gonna say we mentioned it, but yeah, I haven't gotten to watch it yet. I haven't rented it. It's on my list of quarantine viewing at some point. Say, Jake, how is
I
it?
think that's a little more pulpy than this one, it looks like. I haven't seen it, but just from the way it looks.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the impression I got.
I just can't help but see that woman as Liberty Bell from Glow.
Oh, Betty Gilpin, I love her.
Yeah,
she's so fun. She's the reason
But
if I see The Hunt, it'll be because of her. Like, I'm not totally like drawn to it, but she's fantastic in everything. So, damn it, I might have to see this movie. Thanks, Betty.
That's what the one thing I consistently heard with that was that she's fantastic in it. Like, whether people like the movie or not, everyone across the board said she was great.
How dare she be good in something? Now I have to see it.
Yours is.
This is not over.
Putting her on my enemies list.
Scott, please do that at the end of every time I see you from now on.
This is just the beginning, Matt.
End call.
Let's not call this goodbye. Let's call this just the beginning. Oh, that's kind of cute when you put it like that.
Also from chats, shout outs to Annalisa and to Aaron and to Amanda, who all are here also. Jake gives us one of these, so.
Reenacting emojis for us.
Someone else cooler should probably do it instead.
Yeah, Matt, show the other emojis. Act them out.
Let's see, we got this. Okay, we got this. It's laughing. It's not really good. It's my laughing face. It's real bad. It's eyes closed. And some more hearts. So, you know. So hearts to all the commenters. Okay, what else is on your list of stuff?
We covered a whole bunch of them, actually. I was going to go into just how many films over the past year or so have tackled like class issues, which is there's a lot of crossover between the hunting people genre and because there was Ready or Not, there was The Hunt, Joker, Parasite. This is very much.
You said the P word, so I'm seeing how Scott's doing.
Well, I was actually going to say Knives Out, too.
I was going to say it's not hunting, but absolutely Knives Out.
I'm going to say that was on my list, too. Yeah, so that is clearly an issue that has bubbled to the surface for
I wonder why.
a lot of films. And I assume, will continue for a while. We're going to see a recurring theme.
Mm-hmm. End of
There's
like,
a lot of crossover. We kind of have to cover some of that with just the hunting people idea.
Yeah. And that's, I think, not to dig too much deeper into hunting people, but like, I feel like...
I think I've thought about it often.
There's so many like logistical issues, but I guess if you just tackled each one. Anyway.
Yeah, and as Laura points out, there's the OG of them all is the most dangerous game. Yeah, which these all kind of spawned from. But yeah, I feel like there's newly timely in our current state of affairs. And yeah, there are a whole bunch of issues throughout the movie that I kind of are sadly relevant now, just between the idea of the community coming together to defeat the outside threat, and the politician that does not have their best interests at heart and wants to just profit off of their lives. I was like, there's so many things to dig into.
The books. He's like, I brought you books. It dumps like just a load of books. And I was like, well done, buddy. Like, wow.
I would be happy, though, if someone had a dump truck of books and it's like, Scott, here you go. Awesome.
Yeah, that would, come in handy right about now. Yeah, just
better than a library.
Book, yeah.
A dump truck full of books. Oh, another business idea. It's like a lending library, like a book truck, like the bookmobile, except for it's just a dump truck, and I dump them in front of your house.
I'm thinking more of like, you get there's like a ladder and you get to climb up and just kind of stick your hand in. Like, you know what I mean? When you're at Walmart and there's like the $3 bin and you're just, what are we doing tonight?
Or it's like a ball pit, but with paper cuts.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, the books made the most satisfying noise as they fell out of the dump truck. I don't know what to tell you. I loved the sound design of that, but I was like, I don't want this to happen for the books and the people. But I was like, that noise.
For the ASMR, it was pretty sweet.
Yes.
Close your eyes.
You can give me a dump truck of book ASMR account. I will be happy.
Oh, is there not one yet? That's
I like a good niche account. Get real specific. I'll tell you one thing. I enjoyed their use of True by Spandau Ballet, when she's like, and I'm playing American music when the doctor's there.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, it's do. I'm like, I was listening because I was like, I wonder if it's a song I know. Like, oh, that's perfect. It's some sort of weird 80s like teen movie music in this scene. Like it was bizarre enough that it really like tilted the scene a little and made it like actually. It was already weird because she's like serving him stew and he's coming up and she's but then like. Boop, I put on True. So obviously sit down, eat some stew, drink this cashew milk, listen to this 80s pop.
He would be alive if he listened and ate the stew.
Yeah, right.
He had to go be a jerk and flip the table over.
Yeah.
Now you're underground.
To be fair, though, I just want to mention, Meg, that sounds like your next birthday party. We literally just played the entire scene.
Don't let someone's about to steal my idea. That's my idea. Stew, cashew milk, 80s pop. Bloody lab coat. You don't care.
Just wear the bloody lab coat everywhere. New style trend. You're like, what is that? You're like, oh, you know it.
It's fashion. It's what it is.
It's fashion.
Fashion and
Style.
a message.
It is. Fashion often is a message.
It's true. Yeah, we talked right after the movie about the fascinating music choices throughout the movie.
Yeah. Shout out to KP who made the most amazing playlist.
Oh yeah,
Are
Matt Austin. We should.
Yeah. It was people watching the movie. I'm like, that playlist is. It just fits it so well. I'll relink it tomorrow on our social media. Everyone should revisit all our playlists because they're on Spotify and they're amazing.
They are fantastic.
Oh yeah, and the Bacurau one has Celia Cruz on it, the Queen of Salsa. So jump on that.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, the only other music thing I was going to mention in that case is I have not done any digging or research into the actual music used in this, only just from the very surface level of there's so many like varied sources and there's so many like different interesting pieces that have been involved in this. Because we mentioned that the piece that is in one of the earlier trailers, the John Carpenter piece, which is super fun, interesting, is in the film, but it's even a different arrangement in the film than the one in the trailer, which they paid, as usual, such close attention, as usual for this film, such close attention to all of the various pieces. I just love all the different aspects that just fit together nicely. I just think it's so cool.
All right.
Yeah, I do love the use of John Carpenter just to seal the genre deal, so to speak.
I like there was kind of haunting music when the UFO first appeared too. Which did anyone else not? I did not know where this was going, and coupled with the town not being on the map anymore, it disappeared, and then the UFO. I'm like, oh, this is an alien movie. they made this disappear, and the aliens are coming, which probably would not have been a good of a movie, but I just had no idea where it was going.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess aliens of their, if we're looking at that, you can just say they were aliens that did show up, technically. The colonizers, they call them.
Yeah, I was reading an interesting Letterboxd review of the film that was talking about the way that the movie kind of weaves in more of those genre elements as it goes on and becomes like almost like an American genre movie as it goes, to kind of, take those Western ideas and turn the language of their oppressors and use that against them, like the movie itself does that, as the characters within it do, which I thought was a really interesting way to look at it. That's all, just an observation.
No, I'm like, yeah, damn it. Yep. That's just some truth.
I love that they had them practicing the capoeira because, and they were all singing the song and all that. And I was like, love it, because they're about to, it was a martial art created by the African slaves that were brought to Brazil as a way to fight their oppressors, which there is like a huge history in Brazil of slave rebellions. So like for them to incorporate that into the small town, and then, they're getting ready to take everyone out to kind of stop them from taking them out. So I like that, because I think I've read a couple of reviews from interviews from the directors, and they were talking about how history is so cyclical. And so focusing on that, but then also the importance of the museum and how he's looking at, here's this past rebellion that happened here and all of that, and that it's just constantly repeating itself and that they're going to have to protect themselves again.
Yeah, I love that their getting ready scene wasn't them, like, we didn't see them loading guns, and like it was doing capoeira and literally we find they use their history literally to defend themselves. I love that shot when the stupid hunter shows up and he sees like the silhouettes on the wall and he's like, oh no. So they fought them with that, and like obviously this drug that's important to them. That interesting kind of like there's a magical mystical side that was hinted at like a little bit between Carmelita and Visions. So it's like all that stuff that makes them like uniquely strong, and only that they could draw from that is what like defeats like the bad guys. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering, is the little kid gonna come back as a ghost too? Then, if we have ghosts, like I feel that kid that got murdered should turn ghost. Am I right here?
He deserves it.
I would think so, because even the kids were talking about the ghosts of like the two men that were just killed. They were like, their ghosts are out there. So I feel like, yeah, that's just a part of their culture that, yeah, it's the spirits are there. So I think, yeah, the kid will come back.
Yeah,
I would not have been brave enough to go out there as it is, and then to be the one, like the second or third person to go out there and then you get killed. That's
I was like the movie went there. I was like, oh crap, movie. Oh crap, you had that kid killed.
I thought you would just be scared, not like shot.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're not playing around. I thought like the kid would find something, but I'm like, oh no, movie wants you to know, just in case you weren't sure. These are the bad guys. These guys are very, very, very bad.
Some try to say they're not as bad. They're like, oh, I wouldn't have killed a kid.
Yeah, I love them trying to argue.
I would murder a whole village, but not a kid.
That's not what I paid for, okay?
Yeah. I'm a good guy.
I want to murder innocent old people, not little children.
I thought that... Go. Yeah.
Oh no, I just thought it was interesting because that's the character who specifically, and he's like the correctional officer, and he specifically once says like he wasn't a criminal. So in his mind, I love that finding with these characters like how they justify it, and you can tell in his head he's like, well, I'm just gonna clean up these criminals. Like so he thinks he's doing a good job. He still sees himself as the good cop.
Yeah,
which is just like astounding.
Yeah, like he's still the hero of this story.
Yeah, because I thought that very much on a like both macro and microcosm like reinforces about like what do we tell ourselves to like rationalize like our decisions within like a day-to-day life, like because again like also Udo Kier mentioned not killing women, like the other guy was like I don't kill kids. Like I feel like everybody had set up very strange goalposts for themselves that do not align with the other people, even though they're all playing the same terrible game.
Or even using old-fashioned weapons and saying like, "Oh, I'm going to use this weapon because it'll be harder." And it's like, cool, good for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, they can tell themselves whatever they want. They are all terrible.
They're bringing guns anyways to people that they assume only have kitchen knives.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they assume. Once you use the word savage, like you know exactly what they think they're walking into.
Oh yeah, and like that part, it's like those were the clothes of the people that were murdered, and your head is so far up your butt that you don't even realize it. Like,
yeah, I was just like, you know what that is? Don't you know what that is? God, you're stupid on top of evil.
Right? I'm like, this is your warning sign to turn around and just go home.
I think that's probably why I also kept thinking about Westworld, is because they literally like mentioned like several times, they're like, oh, is this actually going to be dangerous? Like, oh, isn't this safe? And I was like, you're coming into a town like that isn't being controlled in a limited environment and being like, oh, we'll be fine. Like, I understand that that's how little they think of the townsfolk.
Yeah.
But I was like, it just reinforces like, they're stupid.
Well, when the government brought in all that food, didn't they give them drugs that they were supposed to take that were supposed to be mood inhibitors?
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was supposed to be part of it, was that they were literally supposed to be just like kind of cattle, and that they were supposed to take the mood inhibitors and then just be chill, and then that was it. But the doctor was very smart, and then they worked as a community and listened to her, even though they were she acted a whole fool.
They just assumed they were going to take them too, because no one stayed to sell them on it. They just dropped off the drug and assumed they'd take this drug.
Yeah.
Damn. Good. See, Sonia Braga. Doctor's amazing. What did they say? She's sweet when she's sober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She like apologizes. Like, listen, I'm sorry. You know how I get. I'm like, it's okay. You do what you got to do. I love you. I mean, the hangover thing. Like, okay, so that's a hangover. She's a doctor.
Yeah.
That woman comes in,
Yeah,
drink a lot of water, puke, drink some more water. Puke. I'm like, aw.
Or even the part where, like, they all obviously care for and love one another, because the one young girl, she's like, I brought her into this world that was a sex worker.
Yeah.
And if she's coming back.
Oh, that was like, I'm like, oh, I love her. She's just like, just face to face with, like, she knows like the power differential there, but she'll go right up there and be like, listen, God, what'd she say? She'd cut off something and feed it to the hens?
Yeah.
In his face, I'm like, and you know she'd do it.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other quick things I want to mention here? I just wanted to say, just from like a film construction standpoint, like, I think that it's interesting, especially in the beginning, how much the film uses like very like slow fades, and it uses wipes, things that I think are kind of we are more accustomed to from either being from like older films or Star Wars, and we don't think about us being in modern genre films or even that many modern films at all anymore.
But yeah, but at the same time, it is drawing on all those influences of the older genre movies from like the 60s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's a way to give it that feel.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like when we were originally trying to figure out like a category for it last summer, like, and we were talking about it's like a action thriller but Western, like a Western being such like a huge component of it. And I think that also comes back to when Meg, you mentioned like Lunga being the mythic figure, and having like, you can almost like in a slightly different way when Lunga walks back into town, you can almost hear like the like Morricone like trumpets being like,
yeah.
like
where's the tumbleweed? Where's the tumbleweed?
It'll be a tumblehead.
Yeah.
Because she don't play.
One of the townspeople is just like rolling it to cause the effect.
Well, they care. They care. They know it's important. So
right. Gotta set the scene. There's ambiance there, okay? I love that they have like the town crier too, who just always had the microphone.
Oh,
yes!
I love it so much. Yeah, so someone's trying to reach you on your phone. This is a way, so like, stay in communication, okay?
Yeah.
I was like, I think a lot more towns maybe need that. Pick up your phone.
I am calling you, and I know you're right there. I see you.
That's some small town stuff right there.
Yes.
Not that like this like video conferencing hasn't been great, but it made me kind of wish we were doing that for the coronavirus. Is literally
hey, everybody.
going down the block, being like, hey.
Everyone gets a half hour on the air.
God. Is that like what was it? Was it in Sweden where every week or every week a new citizen got
the Twitter?
Twitter?
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, what?
I
they used to. I don't think they do it anymore because what was it? The one guy, Seth, the bald guy that used to play the keyboard. I don't know. I think he got it. And then after that, they were like, no more.
Yeah, something happened. They didn't but yeah, it was basically a random citizen would have access and talk about like they're like, I'm pretty sure it was Sweden. Like, hey, this is my day to day, which is great until like, you just need someone who like, oh no, we don't need that day to day.
Let's see. What else do I got here? I think I only have one or two more things, but do you guys have any other things you guys want to bring up?
We talked about hunting people, 80s pop, Udo Kier, blood coat, lab coat. And I'm feeling, beheading. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Those are like the top things.
Yeah, we got through most of my bullet points, so.
Okay, great. KP, anything else from you?
No, I think I hit them all.
Okay.
Thank you for being the history.
Oh yeah, yes, thank you.
Thank
KP.
you. Thank you for doing research.
Yeah.
My only bullet point was UFO, and we
It's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let's see. So Scott, do you want to like promote anything about the little theater then at the end of this?
Yeah, so if you happen to watch this entire conversation and be like, wait, I have not seen this movie, and you're probably confused, first of all. You can watch the movie at thelittle.org, buy virtual tickets, screening at least through April 2nd. Other movies we have screening, St. Francis, and Then We Dance, which Adam wrote a review of. You should check out.
And Then We Dance is a good one.
If you buy St. Francis, you also get a free download, a free rental of Kedi, which is a documentary about cats in Istanbul. It's wonderful. It's so good.
I really want to see it. Yeah. Sweet. And then I think from Anomaly standpoint, I want to make sure that we'll end up retweeting and reposting again both amazing playlists that KP and Matt put together for Bacurau during the festival, which is awesome. And then also, Meg, can you talk a little bit about the InstaFest?
Oh crap! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So,
on the spot.
Oh no! I had to talk about a thing I did. And I'm hoping to do more of these. So I know that a lot of people have been putting together suggestions as we're like, staying home. And I thought Anomaly can maybe put together a few what I call InstaFest, which is just a collection of genre films that all the Anomaly people put together, kind of an idea hopper, as I like to call it. And I put together like a little 7-8 movie little list of fest. Everything's streaming. I give a alternate for every one, just because we can't be on every streaming service ever. And yeah, it's just you can either just take them as suggestions, or you can watch the thing in order. I try to make a little a little sense. I have a little sci-fi, a little action, a little horror, a little just general weirdness. And yeah, it's on our up on our Twitter and our Facebook. And I'll probably do another one because I can't stop. This was fun.
It was a long list. Yeah. It was a long list.
Oh, we got so many. This was just the first chunk of films, because we all have a lot of suggestions because we're all genre nuts.
Yeah, there's so much good stuff out there that we want to share with everyone.
Oh yeah. So
so much stuff I haven't seen and want to. So
yeah, I say take a dive in. I mean, I try to find. I mean, good's a strong word for some stuff. Some stuff's real interesting. Some of it is genuinely good. There's also Tammy and the T-Rex, which is what it is. But it is not a waste of your time, I'll tell you that.
What else are you doing with your time? Talking to your cat? I don't...
Wouldn't you rather watch Denise Richardson talking to her dead boyfriend's brain that's now in an animatronic T-Rex? And the bad guy is Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, like, why do I have to sell this to you anymore?
I didn't know that about that. Like,
I didn't know he was in anything else.
Oh, Terry Kaiser? He's in a bunch of stuff, and then but all he'll ever be is like I'm of the generation where he's just Bernie. So I'm like, oh my god, he's moving around and talking. That's weird.
A subtle, brilliant performance in Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Listen, I've never played a corpse in a movie. I can't talk crap about it.
It's like he and Daniel Radcliffe have a lot to talk about.
That's what I was like. Do you think Daniel Radcliffe, in preparation for Swiss Army Man, just watched marathon Weekend at Bernie's? Like,
he knew he'd be compared. He's like, I have to get at least Terry Kaiser level, or I'm going to be laughed at.
That'll be a pool.
Scott, I love that you were like, this is a great performance, but it needs more farting.
Where is the farting?
Yeah.
Awesome. If you haven't yet, be sure to go to anomalyfilmfest.com. We have a genre film festival here in Rochester, November 12th through 15th of this year, Corona pending.
Yeah.
But go check out that. You sign up for our email mailing list, and we will keep you informed on all of the more insane genre madness that we are involved in. So sweet. There it is. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks. You.
This is not the end.
That's right, Scott.
But it is, actually.
Be gay, do crimes.
Be gay, do crime.